Good morning. Thank you for joining me for an update of our situation here in the great state of Wyoming. I'm preparing to announce a limited reopening of activity in our state, hopefully enough to satisfy most of us, subject to some conditions, which is what I want to talk about today. As you probably know, we have one of the lowest COVID-19 infection rates in the country, and thank God for that. We've been lucky, especially compared to some of the harder hit areas like New York and Los Angeles, which are having terrific problems. Our situation is better, but we can't let our guard down. Wyoming, as well as the rest of the country and the rest of the world, will be dealing with this problem for a long time, and some of the news about mutations and asymptomatic infections mean it may get even worse. We really don't know at this point. So, how to balance the need to keep our guard up, practice social distancing and other measures, and the need and desire to get back to a normal economy and our regular daily life. Believe me, I've talked to many business owners as well as citizens and many of our great medical people. I've been consulting every day. That is the job of a governor or any administrator who's actually in the hot seat, to strike a balance between everybody's needs and interests, and to simply do what's wise and prudent, even if it's not popular. If you spend hours on social media, it's easy to say, we should be free, remember the First Amendment, or to say, let's keep everything closed down till this thing goes away, and it may never go away. Unfortunately, this discussion has tended to get polarized, like everything in public life these days, with many people blaming other people for what's been done and what's not been done, and I think we can all agree that many things such as testing and equipment were not put in place nearly as soon as they should have been, and the U.S. is paying the price now with the highest total deaths and infections of any country. Did I, as governor of Wyoming, pay attention to the warnings that were clearly available back in January and make sure we had enough personal protective equipment and ventilators for our medical people? No, I did not. So as I say, there's plenty of blame to go around. But here we are. I am going to propose today a way forward, which is based on a concept we don't hear too often today: cooperation, civic responsibility, a social contract, all things that involve a little give, a little compromise, not what most of us want to hear. The people of Wyoming have been very good about wearing masks, to the extent that we can find them or make them, in public, about practicing social distancing, and so on. These things have no doubt helped keep our numbers down, as our scientists assure us they do. Therefore, if we're going to move forward and try to get back toward normal business, normal interaction, and so on, we're going to have to approach this as a community, as a Wyoming community, not just as individuals complaining we're not getting our way. We're going to have to agree as a community, as a society, that going forward, at least for a month or two probably, till we see a real flattening of the infection curve, that we're all in this together, as of course we are. We're going to have to agree, for instance, that masks, even imperfect masks, can reduce both the chance of your catching the virus and your spreading the virus. And again, there's growing evidence that many of us can have the virus and be asymptomatic, but still be just as likely to spread the virus, which ends up reaching truly vulnerable people, young and old. So what I'm proposing today is, again, a social contract, if the people of Wyoming are willing to agree to it. I mean everyone, including those who think that their liberty and their freedom of movement are not up for discussion. I would suggest that if this virus, or something more serious like the plague, arose in colonial America, if the cause were known and understood, the government and the citizens would have no problem wearing masks, staying home, doing whatever was necessary. Those people understood about survival and weren't hypnotized by divisive rhetoric 24/7 as we are today. So again, as far as masks in particular, to take the easiest example, I suggest that anyone can make a mask or get a friend or neighbor to make you a mask. If you're not able to find one, and that it's not too much to ask that all of us, 100%, wear a mask if you venture out in public, or to go to a store or a meeting or so on, and to not be part of a group of more than 5, and so on. If we can all agree to do this, all of us, till this thing settles down, we can perhaps relax our restrictions and open up more business, maybe all businesses, except for bars and restaurants, which require opening your mouth to eat or drink. We'll have to deal with that when we can. What we have now is a situation where, for instance, liquor stores are suffering and going out of business, while a pharmacy or convenience store that sells liquor is still able to do so. Can you blame liquor stores for feeling persecuted? Multiply that by 20 other types of businesses who feel that they're being treated unfairly and wondering if they'll ever recover. Similarly, if we can agree that any business that is open or reopens requires their employees as well as their customers to wear masks and makes sure that masks are available for their employees, then we're protecting employees as well as customers. Many businesses have already installed plexiglass shields for their cashiers as well, another step to protecting everyone. Needless to say, disposable gloves and plenty of hand sanitizer and disinfecting of commercial surfaces, bins, shelves, door handles, all of it helps and must be stepped up if we're going for a wider reopening. Does that sound doable? We must also limit the number of customers in any business to 1 per every 100 square feet of customer accessible floor space, which many businesses are already doing, of course. Is that also something we can all agree to? I'd like to ask you all to think about it. Think about whether we can all agree to these terms in going forward. I'd like to ask you all to let me know what you think, yay or nay. The question again is, can we all agree to these conditions in order to move forward? Let me know, especially if you've been active and vocal about having your individual rights stepped on. Can you agree to these limited measures? I want to hear from you. Call or email me or text me at the numbers given below. Discuss it with your neighbors and family, and we'll revisit this in a week, right here. I appreciate your attention today, and I appreciate your participating in this decision. In closing, as you know, since I have your attention, I always like to sign off with a salute to one of our beautiful cities or tourist spots. So today we're saluting beautiful Devil's Rectum, Wyoming, in the central part of the state. Not as well known as some of our other tourist spots, but a delightful place my family and I have visited and enjoyed often. Thank you and good evening.